If you're gonna queue up for a kunafa $35 by Ogen, but when our local sell it at $15, you are saying it's expensive, you're not gonna queue for it. To me, that's bloody ridiculous.
We see creators every day. We see content, numbers, and brand names. But we rarely stop to ask, who is the person behind it all? Today, I'm sitting down with Syuk. Not SyukEats, but the man behind it. To talk about purpose, community, and what support local really means when the cameras are off.
Before SyukEats existed,
Yeah.
who were you?
Okay, I started doing content about 5 years ago.
Yes. That
Right?
was
Like
about
you
time
mentioned,
I found
right?
you. Yeah.
So about 5 years ago during the COVID period. But before that itself, right, I am just a normal, like anyone else. Okay, I'm still a normal guy like anyone else lah. Just what I'm saying is that I was working 9 to 5 like everyone else out there, right? A lot of people out there. So I was in the space of training and development. This is the boring part of me, the dry part of me. So I was doing training development, HR, since like 2011. So I started doing training for students. So back then, right, it was more of like, after secondary school, I thought, oh, cool to be those camp instructor lah.
Oh, so you're that kind of guy.
Bandana.
Yeah.
And then as the year goes by, then I'm like, okay, I cannot just be doing camps day in and day out.
Yeah.
Right? Because I just want to do something more, I wanted to earn more. Truth be told, right? We just want to earn something more. So that's why I decided to do more of other corporate work lah. So again, still in the space of training. So I was doing training for different corporate organizations lah.
Yeah.
And then I rose through the rank. I went to different kind of organization from the smallest to the biggest. And then I went to brands like, I was working in Under Armour for about 3+ years.
Wow, okay.
I was doing training for the regional market. So I was flying into a lot of the countries in Southeast Asia, literally training a lot of the salespeople. So
Wow,
if you were to walk in any of the Under Armour store in Southeast Asia, sorry, not Southeast Asia only, the APAC lah, Asia Pacific, whether is it in Nepal, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Indonesia and all that, I would say there was a period of time that I was training most of their retail staff lah.
Okay.
And then I went to other corporate organizations lah. And so while doing all that, I was on my personal account, personal IG.
Yeah.
I was posting about this stuff, things lah, brand, and I started tagging all these brand. But that was on my personal account.
Right, yes.
Because at that point in time, I see like, oh, this influencer like damn cool, no? It's like tag. So I tag like in hope that people will actually find me lah. But at that point in time, it's my own personal account, so nothing cool about it. Okay, basically, right, I didn't go through that normal pathway like everyone else in Singapore in terms of education. So I told everyone, if I were to pursue a career based on my O-level result, I would have been a bilingual chef. Okay?
Wow, okay.
Because I only passed 3 subjects for my O-level.
Okay.
Okay? I only passed food and nutrition, or nutritionist bilingual lah.
Yes.
So I only passed food and nutrition,
Yep.
Malay and English. That's it.
Wow, okay.
So I screw up my every other subject.
Okay.
Like literally screw up. Even though I was the vice president of student council, I was the president of my media club. But I screw up my O-level.
Right.
To the extent, as an O-level student, I was only left with 2 or 3 options in ITE. And I had to appeal. I had to appeal to ITE Bishan back then. I said, I want to enter events management. And ITE Bishan also rejected me. Okay, so this guy, O-level, only passed 3 subjects. Despite all my portfolio of becoming the president, vice president, all of this, none of the institution want to take me except for the 2 courses in ITE. Then that's when I told myself, you know what? Screw this shit. You know, let's just pursue my own things lah. So I decided to just straight away start working.
Wow, after O-levels.
After O-level.
Wow.
So I was already doing like part-time marketing,
Yes.
a bit of design work back then after secondary school.
Wow.
And then after that, so when people ask me where my creative side starts, actually even before these 5 years, I already doing like basic design on PowerPoint. Creating design on PowerPoint or match this icon with this icon becomes a map.
Yes.
And then I was doing admin back then, and then after that I was doing training. I always believe is that no matter whichever milestone that you have in life, right, there are always different people that God has placed there for you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's for yourself as an individual to also accept those hands that is reaching out to you. Whether they whether they deliberately actually reached out to you or not.
Yeah.
But God placed the right people at the right time for you to actually accept those hands and move forward lah. Because with whatever background that I had, to be very frank and honest, not many people wants to extend their hand, to be very frank. Right? Who want to take someone in when this person flung his O-level results, for example?
Yeah.
When I got the job in Under Armour back then, if not for my then manager, I wouldn't be able to do whatever I was doing. If he was actually that critical and if I were to use this word anal about, oh, he needs to have a certain degree and diploma, I wouldn't have been able to do whatever I'm doing right now.
Right.
But probably he saw Syukri beyond whatever a transcript would actually show what Syukri is. Right. So I guess I always believe whatever milestone I have in life, it was because that God has placed the right people at the right time for me to accept those offers or hand. And then when I accept those offers, it's for me to actually make sure I don't disappoint them.
Exactly. And I want to add on to what you say.
Yeah.
I think it's more of like, it's to prepare you for what's to come. Right? It's more of like, okay, you know that you want to reach there, you have to go through this path in order for you to be prepared for that next level in your life.
And I think when you talk about path, one thing about me, this sounds like a story being made up lah. But if you were to ask any of my secondary school friends, right, they know Shukri is that guy as someone who doesn't believe in the straight path of education. Even since secondary school, right, I always keep telling my friend, you don't need education to survive. You don't need this education to survive. I always keep telling people that.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I mean, I flunked my O level lah. But so we had me and my secondary school friend, we had this saying that, okay, our goal is after this we're gonna go ITE together.
Oh, we all have that. We all
right? We're gonna go ITE together. And then ITE didn't want to even accept me, to ITE out there, even ITE didn't want to accept me, let alone poly lah, So, and to the extent, if I were to knock on any doors back then to ask for this kind of scholarship to sponsor me studies, none of them will accept me.
Exactly, you didn't meet the requirements.
I didn't meet the requirements. To the extent I had to go to Mendaki, right? By the way, this is not Mendaki ads, by the way. People tend to associate me with Mendaki, but even when I go to Mendaki, right, Mendaki had to give me a loan rather than a scholarship. So I had to pay back.
Correct.
A lot of Malay Muslims out there,
yes,
they get a loan when Mendaki sponsor their education, tuition and all that. For me, I have to pay back Mendaki 7,000 for my education. So when I took my private diploma, I had to actually go to Mendaki saying that, hey, look, I want to take a study loan. So Mendaki, I think, paid my study loan about 7,000+.
Yeah.
And I had to get a guarantor for that.
Correct.
And to be very honest, at that point in time, I do not know who to get. And you know who I go to? I go to my secondary school teachers. And the reason I'm sharing with you this story, right, because it kind of adds up later on why I'm doing whatever I'm doing now.
Right.
So I go to my secondary school teachers, and two of my guarantor, my secondary school teachers, and just imagine this fella, 16-year-old, 17-year-old back then, go to my secondary school teacher and say, can I get your pay slip? Because I need to submit for a guarantor. And these two teachers of mine, if I can just mention their name, is Miss Veronica Chua and Miss Lim Chai Ling. These two teachers, they actually, so they passed me their pay slip to become my guarantor for my Mendaki loan. While a lot of people probably knock on the doors of their uncle, aunties, of their closest friend, I didn't want to burden my family member. No, I want to burden my teachers lah. But it's just that there must be a reason why my teachers are willing to go to the extent.
Exactly.
Hey, 7,000 back then, maybe that was 2011. 7,000
it's a lot,
no?
Yes.
If I decide to forgo all whatever nonsense, they have to fork out that 7,000 just to pay off,
Yes. Do your batch mates know about this story or?
Which one, the guarantor?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think this is probably the first time. I think maybe at most only 2 or 3 my closest friend lah.
Oh wow, okay. This is exclusive, guys.
Actually, it's true. I think it's exclusive. Correct. I don't think I disclosed this story before.
Wow. Okay.
It's a very sensitive thing back then.
Okay, then let's move on to the lockdown. Why did you decide to do this?
I was still working full time back then.
Yeah.
And then I was at home. To be very frank and honest, being very naive and just not naive lah, just being superficial lah. I was like, I see a lot of my friends say, oh, this content creator, influencer and all that, very cool, get free stuff and all that. I was like, I want to be an influencer, get free stuff. Like legit. That was one of the reasons. So I get free stuff, get people send free food and all that. But the other side of it, right, I just wanted to create something that I can help small businesses, home-based business, like legit. But then people ask me, what's that motivation, what actually, I mean, why would that motivation suddenly came out of nowhere?
Exactly.
So there's this type of story of mine that, again, I've never shared this story before, like legit, I've never shared this story before. I could have done any sort of content, but why SyukEats? Why food content?
Yeah.
So first, let's get back to the name itself, SyukEats. So I was posting on my own personal IG, not whatever people are saying now. I have my personal account, which is private now. So, so I have a personal account, and I was posting on my personal account. I was like, hey, what name should I do? Because at that point in time, I was tagging like different brands. I was posting, I go to this makan place.
Yes.
And I started having a list of names lah. And then some of my friends were suggesting, oh, SyukEats lah, whatever names lah. So the name came out from a friend of mine.
Okay.
Her name is Mai Sarah. So she actually said, hey, SyukEats lah. So I did a poll on my own personal IG. And I was like, okay lah, just settle for SyukEats lah. I'm a believer of this. Don't try too hard to think of the right brand.
Yep.
Just start something and create a story behind the brand.
Correct. Yes.
Because if you think too hard about, I need the right name, the right brand, right? I mean, if it's something that's new, nobody will familiar with it.
Exactly. Correct.
You are the one who make people familiar with your brand.
That's right.
I believe in working that direction rather than think hard, I need to have the right brand. So that's why, okay lah, just start SyukEats back then, no followers, nobody know who the hell is this guy. So that's when SyukEats, that brand name started lah. Because of a friend, I did on my personal account, people give me the name, okay? But why?
Just curious, what was the other options that you had?
Oh shit, honestly I cannot remember. Whoever that's watching it, I really cannot remember.
Well, was it similar to the name, or was it really like those funky names?
I think there are some funky names.
Right.
There are some which doesn't have the word Syuk, I think.
Okay.
But the brand SyukEats came about because someone recommended, right? But if you think about SyukEats, actually, it's actually shoot, S-H-O-U-L-D,
Yes.
eat. You should eat this. You should eat that.
Ah, you know what? I thought it was like supposed to be like a SyukEats. You know, like Syuk.
So that's, and then people were thinking of that as well. People say, oh, SyukEats or Syuk, you know. But it's actually should eat. You should eat this, you know. There's that ring lah. So why food, right? Why food content? Okay, this is a story again I've never shared. When I was a very young boy, sunny back story. When I was a very young boy, my grandparents used to own a food stall in Tanglin Halt, Commonwealth for close to 20 years.
Wow.
So people ask me, where did I get the inspiration about food content? Why am I so closely? I have that passion for hawkers and small businesses.
Yes.
It was because my grandparents, from my mom's side, they used to run this food stall at Tanglin Halt Food Centre. So if back then, right, whoever that stays in Tanglin Halt, right, if you stay in Tanglin Halt area, and then back then we had this football club called Tanjong Pagar United at Queenstown Stadium. If you are of that generation, there's this particular shop that called Sila Mampir. It's an Indonesian slang, right? Hey, wait, Sila Mampir or Sudi Mampir? Wait, let me get my facts right. I want to make sure I get it right. Sila Mampir, correct.
Okay.
So it's called Sila Mampir. Basically, essentially, Sila it's Mampir it's come forward or come in or come over. Sila is do come forward lah. Basically, do come over, right? Correct. So my grandparents sells your usual hearty Malay breakfast, your mi soto, mi rebus, tahu goreng, and all that.
Okay.
And after a few years, when my grandparents decide to say they don't want to do it anymore, my parents and my auntie and my uncle took over.
Yep.
But towards the last few years before the shop closes, my parents full on took over the shop.
Oh, okay.
So I remember when I was very small, when my parents was running this business, I was playing around, running around, that typical little kid running around while the parents running a shop. So I was running around, and then when I play hide and seek, one of the spot I will hide with my brother is actually, you know, when you go to hawker center, they display the food.
Yes.
Below it is actually their storage tau. They will keep all their storage dekat bawah.
Correct.
So that was one of my storage point when I play hide and seek with my friends back then. So kita main hide and seek, lari-lari, you run around. So I will hide under the storage lah.
Yep.
Or there's a playground at Tanglin Halt area and all that. So my parents took over, and then they were selling. Okay, this sounds very biased, but truth be told, if my parents were still running a food stall, they could have just sold mi soto, and that would be the only thing they sell, and they could survive the brand till today. Because that's how good my parents' mi soto is.
I see. Okay.
I legit can say that. Because why? Because their mi soto is the kind, if you eat mi soto, right?
Yes.
Some people, they will have the shredded chicken on top.
Yep.
Most of the time, you get the shredded chicken is usually dry, or the chicken there's no flavour one, because they just boil it.
Correct.
But my mom's mi soto, you can legit just eat the chicken and the chicken skin on its own without the mi soto itself. It's so full of flavors.
Wow. Okay.
Without the sambal kicap, it's so full of flavors. And my mom's tahu goreng. Okay. So, but sadly they no longer run the stop lah. No longer the stop. So they are just at home, you know, well, very much retired and all that. So I guess that's where that food element comes in lah. Because I grew up in the environment of a hawker center.
Yep.
This is something that nobody knows. You know, people just thought, oh, Syuk just want to, you know, cloud chasing or whatever lah. But I grew up in the environment of a hawker center.
Yep.
So that's why I'm perfectly fine eating hawker center food.
Yes. Okay.
I don't need restaurants, you know.
Yep.
So that's how the eats and the food actually comes about. So that's why if you ask me till today,
okay.
local food or hawker centers have a soft spot for me.
Yep.
And I think that's just something I enjoy being around. And I guess that's really shouts the culture here in Singapore lah.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's where the food comes in, because I grew up in an environment where my parents, my grandparents, my auntie, uncles ran a hawker shop.
Yep.
Even when I was studying in primary school, secondary school, my parents was once in a while ada kedai kopi, run food stall. And then I remember back in secondary school, I would take orders for epok-epok.
Okay.
So my parents, because my mum do super epok-epok, so what they do is that I will take orders from my friend.
Yes.
Okay, semua epok-epok sardin, epok-epok kentang.
Yeah.
And my epok-epok kentang ada telur, bro. So I'll take order from my friends. $3 $1 back then. So I'll take orders, and my mum will make every morning. I come to school, my bag, the moment I open my bag, bawa epok-epok.
What was the motivation in doing SyukEats?
One of my motivation is the fact that I wanted to grow my numbers, that it reached a stage where I can continue to support whether is it the small businesses, or is it the budding creators out there.
I see.
Alright, because the thing is, because when I started off, right, I'm blessed by amazing people that actually was like, hey, Syuk, never mind, come and help. Syuk, come and help support. Right? For example, when I first started off with only like, I didn't have TikTok yet. My Instagram followers like less than 1,000 plus, and then my Facebook was I don't know how many only lah. Someone reached out to me and said, hey Syuk, I want to sponsor you a microphone. And this is a classic story I always tell people. And this person technically, we didn't really know each other per se. He saw my posting and said, anyone want to sponsor me a microphone? And then he straight away DM me. And then he said how much. Then at that point in time, that 5 years ago, that one of the hit mic was Ceremonic. Either Ceremonic or Rode. You know? So it was a dual mic. And that dual mic was easily like, I think 200 plus, if I'm not wrong. So he reached out, he DM me on Facebook, and then he was like, how much do you need? How much is the mic? Then I sent him the link, I said the price is like this. And then that's when he was like, okay, let me transfer you the money. I can't remember exactly how much, but if let's say the mic was 230, he transferred me $250. He said, whatever excess, it's your transportation fee lah. And then after that, when I started doing paid content creation, brands like Pondok Abang came forward. You know, that point in time, my following was really very little. Pondok Abang was like, okay, Syuk, I will send you some products. I'm going to pay you this minimal fee for you to just do a review lah. So I guess for me, my motivation was, again, how can I have a platform of my own that I can actually help? I won't say help lah, because not everyone like the word help, right? To them, it's like, I don't need your help, you know, but be there to support those who wants to grow. Right? Be that person that when others are running away from. How can I be that person? Even if someone, let's say, Syuk, I am just starting up. I only have like 100 followers. I want to partner with you. Okay, let's just do it now. And if let's say someone just started a shop, alright, and they say, when I say, just to be clear, when I say started a shop, right, maybe they just start a small business lah. But if they start a restaurant, I would expect you to have a budget for marketing lah. You know, if you just start a massive restaurant, spending $1,000, you cannot afford to put aside that amount of money to do marketing. Something is wrong with you lah. You know. But if you're just starting a hawker shop, really, you know, just spending minimal and then you've got not much money, right? So I guess if there's something I can help, to me, okay, this sounds very righteous lah, but I just feel like it's an ibadah for me. I feel it's just a responsibility for me, because I just feel that paying an influencer, it's not cheap. You know, in the thousands of dollars. So if I can be that person, not to undercut lah, but it's more of to be that support for people who really needs it. I think I would love to do that. Because I always tell myself, I mean, numbers is numbers. Because at that point in time, I was like, okay, what's the next milestone as of
correct.
And I remember this. I spoke to, I mean, all of us know in the community knows Abang Sujimi Muhammad, very known individual, right? And he said this, Syuk, aim for your first 10,000 on Instagram. And he said, not because we are superficial, but because naturally brands would prefer to work with people who have these numbers. Right? So when I started hitting these numbers, my TikTok hit 10,000, my Facebook was the first one to hit beyond 10,000. And then after that, my Instagram. So all my platform hit beyond 10,000. And that's when brands would like to actually work with me. And then I realized, okay, now it's good. I have bigger brands working with me. With those money that's coming in from the bigger brands, I can support the smaller brands at a very minimal fee, or I can do pro bono for the smaller brands. So now the smaller brands doesn't have to say, well, Syuk, I cannot afford to pay you that few $1,000s.
Yes.
I said, it's fine, but let's barter trade certain other things, because it's not that I'm being calculative, but I think for the brands, the smaller brands, I also need them to understand that it's important as a business, they need to put aside budget or effort for marketing. It doesn't come free. Because it's business, right?
Correct.
It's for me to actually educate them as well as part of business that you need to put the effort and resources for your marketing.
That's right. Yes.
So I didn't want for them to just say, okay, just get Syuk because it's free, or get Syuk because it's cheap, right? Because I wanted to know that there's a small investment, because it's important for you to actually spend time on marketing. But to your point, is right. I know I'm deviating from that, but I think to your point, my motivation really, if you ask me first, it's really to be able to just to help and support people who are growing, right? And that includes people who wants to be content creator, people want to be influencer and all that. And Alhamdulillah, I would say 2025 alone, I've been able to work with quite a few people who are just starting up, growing their brand, or even organization wants to grow a brand. And it feels good seeing people get motivated when they start to see numbers. When they start to see that people believe in their work, you know, because that's how I started. So I guess if I'm able to do that, then I feel that I've done my part. This sounds very deep, but if one day anything happens to me, at least I know I don't leave behind a content page with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers, but I know that I'm living this world, sounds very deep right now, living this world with people who have kind of benefited from what I gain from other people and can continue whatever they want to do. And they can continue to benefit other people. That's it. Right? Because I'm not an ustaz, I cannot be going around preaching about religion, right? So I guess this is my way of leaving a legacy lah. If not living a legacy, but I guess to just impact people around me.
Okay. I think I want to bring the attention to back to the part where you were saying you were doing this in a form of ibadah. So most of my viewers here are non-Muslims, the non-Malays. I think, do you want to like elaborate a bit of like this form of ibadah?
I would just say, just being as a human being, if you were to strip everything off, your ranks and files, your appointment, your job title, everything, right? What exactly are you leaving behind? What is the impact are you leaving to the people around you? Right? If let's say today or tomorrow you passed on lah, simply put lah, I'm nothing to beat around the bush. Let's say tomorrow you passed on, or I passed on, what is it something that people remember you for? That's it, right? But if you ask me, I don't need people to say, this is Shukri Azman posting online. I don't need that, but I just need to know that there's someone out there that without posting online felt the fact that, I remember I spoke to Syuk and he shared with me this, and this is the reason why I'm doing this. And because of what he shared, I'm able to maybe earn extra income for my family, whatever that is, right? Or maybe because of whatever he shared, I'm able to do something for my business, and my business grew after that. Whatever that is. So I guess, to your point, exactly what is defined as ibadah in a more simply put is, what are you leaving behind if you were to pass on tomorrow?
Right.
To me. That's how I look at it.
Let's go back to the time where you started this thing in the heart of pandemic. The circuit breaker. While you started off SyukEats, were you still doing all of the other things that you were doing full time, or you left everything just to start SyukEats?
I was still doing whatever I was doing full time. So I had my full time job, but it was also quite a very, what's the word, turbulence period for me. Is it the word? Very crazy period for me, because during COVID I got laid off because I was in the tech industry. I thought, wow, I got the ideal job. Tech industry, super benefit, full on pantry, salary, alhamdulillah, travel and all that. And then after that, I got laid off. Within less than 12 hours? So literally what happened was, we got the email at about 12 midnight, and then after that we got laid off immediately. And then after I got laid off, I was like, okay, maybe with whatever experience, let's go back into a local company, try to support the local company. And then I realized, culture shock, bro. Culture shock. I thought with my whole patience and all that, right, I thought I could. I went to a local company, I'm not disclose whatever I was earning lah. I will not disclose that. But I will say that it was a very, very comfortable salary.
I can imagine that. I think we all get where it's going.
Okay, it was a very comfortable salary. We are talking about annual, once you include all your benefit bonus, we are talking about 6 figures. With every year you have your sales retreat overseas, all paid for, 5-star hotel. It was no-brainer. It was a place to stay at that stage of my career and my life. For someone who doesn't have a degree, who failed his O-level, for someone who only have a private diploma, to be earning those salary, those benefit in a global tech financial industry, I say it's a no-brainer. But I think it's just God's way, and I believe this, right? I just felt the culture wasn't a good fit for me. I screw up my job, like legit, and then my bosses, my team was like, hey, Syuk, why are you doing this? And then things was just going down the drain. But while all this is happening, I was also already doing my content at the side. I was doing my hosting as well. Maybe it's just a way of, for me to slowly transit or segue to do whatever I'm already doing now. God's plans are amazing, I would say. I think after first layoff, and then the second job wasn't the right place, and then after that, the third, that whole transition within 1.5 years. I was doing content, I was still doing content, I was still doing my hosting, but I wasn't doing full time. I was doing full time.
And do you feel that it was much more fulfilling despite a very lucrative career that you had?
It definitely is lah. It was much more fulfilling because first and foremost, when I do content, I know that my impact was directly to the business. Right? Let's say I go create a content for a shop. When I get viewers, I know that some of my viewers will go to the shop and spend money at the shop. Right? If I help these businesses, because some of my client I was helping with their social media. So if let's say I help the client with social media, I know we are driving traffic to the shop. So I see some numbers. It was definitely much more fulfilling. If I do weddings, I do events hosting, it's fulfilling because I know I see people enjoy, I see people celebrating. At the end of the wedding, people say, hey, should people enjoy your presence as an MC and a host? So the satisfaction is just different as compared to maybe it's too early to say lah, but I might just go back to full-time job. I don't know. Maybe if God's plan after 5 years, I go back to full-time job. But that point in time, full-time job, maybe having to meet my boss's KPI, example lah.
Yep.
Or I need to design a training program which I feel like is not relevant. The satisfaction is just different. But to your point, was it more fulfilling? Yes, definitely was more fulfilling. Do people appreciate you more in that sense? Yes. Were people much more genuine with you?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I guess it was much more fulfilling.
I think one of the first time I watched you was you were promoting a lot of the home-based businesses. I think that was the first few contents that I was watching of you.
Yeah.
When you start off doing home-based business reviews, do you felt like, like someone needs to do this to push this home-based business, and the fact that it has to be me?
Not really, because I feel that there was a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted to be another person to spread that awareness. I just want to be another voice, because I feel that everyone voice reaches to different people.
Yes.
So I just say, why not I just be another voice so that it reaches to more people lah.
Do you find that it was already like a working formula for these creators that you wanted to replicate?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Because a lot of time, right, people are trying too hard to create something new. A lot of us always worry about, I need to create something that is totally brand new.
Yeah.
Think so hard. Then by the time you think, you don't act on it.
Yes, correct.
But what I wanted to do was to actually, actually get some inspiration and then create my own version of it and start something on my own lah.
Okay.
So I guess I get inspirations, but
Yep.
I don't need to create something entirely brand new Because when you create something brand new, right, the challenge is you got to actually reframe the mind of people to understand what you're trying to do. But if you're creating something that people are already seeing,
familiar with that,
then you create your own brand, your own voice around it, then it's just a matter of shifting familiarity only. Right?
That is right.
Yeah.
So you crack the formula in a way lah.
I guess not formula lah. It's just that it's something that align with me lah. Something I'm comfortable with. So that's why even till today, right? Yeah. If I want to start something new, for example, when I started this brand called Linkar Project, which basically is a walk that happens every month. I was like, okay lah, I don't need to think smart lah. Just think of a Malay word, Linkar. Initially, people were like, what the heck is Linkar? Then I keep harping on the word Linkar. Eventually, people come to me and say, what's Linkar?
Yeah.
So you create that familiarity for people. That's it lah. To me, that's brand lah.
Right.
It's not about. I feel like when it comes to branding, right, it's something that it's an ongoing process that you make it stick on people's mind rather than worry so much at the start stage.
Correct.
I feel a lot of people are worrying about, I need to think of the right word that will stick on people's mind.
Yes.
How the heck you know what people are thinking? By the time you think, people think about something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I had the same thought about this. As a marketer myself, I can resonate and relate to whatever you say. So you did this 30 days, 30 brands during the Ramadan.
Yep.
Do you want to enlighten us, like, what was the whole campaign about actually?
Okay. So this 30 days, 30 brand, right? What I did was I literally opened up my platform where, this one I cannot remember whether was it paid or not. I don't think it's paid, I can't recall. Every single day we will feature one brand, local brand. Whether is it food, whether is it a service, whether is it a product.
Okay.
So throughout that 30 days, there were brands like food brand, there was even like those kind of sports therapists, there were even like apparel brand for 30 days.
Oh, so it wasn't just food only, right? Okay.
No. So my inspiration was very simple. I was inspired by Khairul Aming.
Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking, he actually utilized his platform for 30 days straight. Of course, he actually planned ahead lah. So he already done his shot already actually. So I was like, actually it's a very smart move where every single day where people are consuming content as well, why not I post one brand every single day? And at that point in time, I told myself, again, because it's Ramadan, I just feel that that's a way for me to ibadah during Ramadan lah, right? Correct. If I'm able to actually publicize every brand, one brand a day, then I think if people start to buy their product, then good for them, alhamdulillah, you know. But that point in time, what happened was, because it was just the thing about me is that when an idea come up, right, I don't sit on it for too long.
Yes.
I hang on it. So I think about that quite late. So which means already close to Ramadan. So I opened up an online form or something like that. And then after that, I got people to submit. And then I created folders on my Google Drive. And then people submit all their photos. And that 30 days, 30 brand, it was a pure awareness. It wasn't a review of me eating whatever. Right? So people were sending me all their photos that they put inside the folder. Then I just edit it. Then after that, I just post. Kalau you want to buy these cookies, you buy this. You want to buy this photo, buy this product, you get this, you know. So it stretches throughout Ramadan. And because it was more than 30 brands, on some days I had like 2 brands featuring.
Wow, okay.
Correct. So if you ask me, right, the benefit for me, to be honest, at that point in time, it was purely cross marketing. Then I can gain followers from all these brands as well.
Okay,
Right. So their followers come to my platform.
Yep.
Their followers come to my platform, and then my followers go to their platform. So we kind of cross promote our followers, essentially.
I see.
Yeah.
So this 30 days. Okay, so I mean, you want to give context like why 30 days? Because
So 30 days because the entire Ramadan, essentially is about plus minus lah, right? 30 days. So so every single day is just to match each day of the month of Ramadan lah, the fasting month. So there's something that is being pushed to the audience. Because I cannot be eating content every single day also lah for Ramadan. So
I think we all have heard of this lingo where people say support local. Okay, so what does it mean to you?
Okay, wow. Okay, this support local lah. Okay, so there was one particular video that blew up recently. I posted about this support local. So what happened was there was an event that happens at I think Suntec or Expo lah. And there was non-local Singapore brand celebrity that came in.
Okay.
I'm not sure I can say names but
I was about to say something.
Okay lah, nothing wrong lah. I mean, I would say lah because the video is out there. So it was a video of Datuk Sri Vida and Datuk Sri Alif Shukri, the Malaysian entrepreneurs. So it was an event at Expo, and I think probably it's a gimmick lah. So they were doing video. They say, tak ada customer, tak ada orang.
Correct.
And then Datuk Alif Shukri said this. She said, Singapore, orang-orang Singapore semua sendu. And I was taken aback, but it's just him being him lah, right? But the word sendu basically means it's a very dead crowd lah. There was nobody. And then I was triggered by that because the word sendu came after one person passed by his booth. And then he was like, something like the crowd is sendu or the Singaporeans, whatever sendu lah. So I was taken aback. So I created a content out of it. And I said this. Inside my content, I literally put his face there and I said this. It's about time that we start support local, like how we support all these people that we do not know. Right? All these celebrities that come in with their product costing $30, but when our local sell it at $15, we say it's expensive. You know? But just because there's a celebrity name out there, even selling a potato chip $35, people say, oh, we should support. But when our local make their own product, sell our product at $15, $10, people say it's expensive. You know? So when I say support local, in my definition, when I say support local, does not mean that we don't support outsiders brand.
Yes.
Because business is business. We ourselves, we venture into other market beyond Singapore. We also want the support from other market. But when I say support local means, first, if we can give that amount of support to all these non-local brand, I would expect that the local can give the same support to the local brand. As simple as that. If you're gonna queue up for a kunafa $35 by Ogen, but when our local sell it at $15, you are saying it's expensive. You're not gonna queue for it. To me, that's bloody ridiculous. Right? If let's say you're gonna go and queue up for 5 hours for a product selling a nasi mandi, for example, by a non-local, but when a local sell it at the same price, no queue, you say mahal.
It's expensive. Correct.
To me, it doesn't make sense. So that's one. My definition of support local is give your same equal of support. Right? That's one. But on the flip side is, when I say support local, it also means for the local brand, this is a catch. For the local brand, it does not mean you can have the liberty of giving a substandard product and expect the local to support you.
Exactly.
To me, that's bullshit. Right? You give a substandard product, charging a premium price, but your product sucks. You cannot expect local to support you as well.
Exactly. You're cutting corners lah, basically.
You're cutting corners. So to me, when you say support local, it's two sides, right? Support the local buyer so that they can buy your product. That's for the seller. For the consumer-wise, support local buying the local product.
Exactly.
So it takes two hands to clap. For the buyer, go and support the local brand as how much you want to support all these big other celebrity brand or the external brand that is coming in. But for the local seller, you bloody freaking go and make sure your product is matching the price of your product. You don't freaking put a price that is ridiculous just for the sake of, sebab orang luar boleh letak harga gitu pun kita pun letak lah. Just because others charge 30, we charge 30. But your product is substandard. Right? You cut corners. To me, if that's the kind of a business, it's not ethical, I'm not going to support you lah. Why would I want to support a local product that is substandard but charging a premium? Right? So my definition of support local is very simple. Make sure your product as sellers match the premium if you're going to charge a premium. For the local, whatever they're gonna buy, make sure it matches whatever support you're giving all these other external brands. As simple as that.
Do you feel that there's other external factors that is making them to bump up their prices due to like maybe like rent or material wise?
So you see, the funny thing is, of course there are a lot of factors.
Yeah.
You know, I sit down with a lot of my friends who run F&Bs and all that. Some of them open up a shop at Bali Lane.
Yeah.
Right? Well, a lot of people complain about, oh, kedai semua tutup, hawkers are not making money. But a lot of the local brands are starting at Bali Lane, Haji Lane. And I feel that we should go and support them, right?
Yep.
There are a lot of amazing brands out here by the locals. I mean, no doubt, yes, there are a lot of other factors that's involved. Rental, and I would say manpower is one of it, right? Cost, in terms of your raw cost product, raw item and all that. So, there are a lot of elements that's contributing to it. But I also feel, from a business standpoint, we shouldn't just blatantly blame the cost price to increase our price.
Correct. Yeah.
And that goes back to my point earlier on, that you should not cut corners and make a substandard product and hope that people will pay just because barang-barang mahal.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of people who start brands at Kampung Glam area and their price, to be honest, is not cheap, but they make sure that their product are quality product. Whether is it the plating, whether is it their online marketing, whether is it their service, there's a lot of element that actually elevate your product experience or your service experience. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about you must put a certain ingredient in your product. That's not it. Right? There's a lot of other element that can make your product look expensive. So if I'm going to spend on $30 steak, I will not complain because why? Your service is there. Your booking system is there. Your online marketing is there. And your branding is there. So there's a lot of element that contributes to that price point. So I guess for businesses out there, you can charge a premium, but make sure you don't just blatantly blame cost price. Correct. I mean, there's a lot of brands that survive through the storm. But they're not charging premium. Why? You know, there must be a reason why they keep getting the same customer back again and again. So I would say, I mean, I spoke to a lot of people who run coffee shops. You know, they've been running for a decade long. There must be something that they are doing. Yes, they do sometimes, they do complain about some cost price and all that, no doubt. But there must be something else that they are doing right that allows them to sustain their business. So I guess to just blame cost price is not fair. Because from a business standpoint, if you just blaming cost price, then I don't think that's fair lah.
When you put this out there, what was like the response from all of these business owners about this supporting local? Like, was there like one-sided or was it a balance of everything?
If anyone were to find back that video that I posted on Instagram and TikTok, the amount of local brands that you will see at all those food events, a lot of them commented. And these are business owners.
Yes.
If you go back to that comment section, you will see them. These are local brands owners. They always appear in a lot of these big brands events. They are commenting, Syuk, thanks for saying this for us. Syuk, thanks for saying this. Because they cannot say it.
Correct.
Because it's sensitive, right? It's business and business.
Yeah.
So when I started talking about this, I have brands coming to me, DM me. Syuk, thank you so much for highlighting this. I have all the screenshots. Because for them, they need to jaga, you know the business culture.
Reputation.
So I understand.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm perfectly fine for me to be that bad guy. To say the truth lah.
Exactly.
You know? So when I posted about that, I had a lot of responses coming from the local business owners, the local brand. And then what I did was, inside my video, there's one part I said, guys, I'm releasing a sticker, local only. If you're interested, do DM me. So I had a lot of people DM me. Apparel product and all that. Because what they wanted to do was, imagine you go to a Singapore Expo event or a Suntec event. You go to a booth and you see a local brand. You know, okay, I will support this because it's local. But okay lah, sorry lah, but I didn't manage to make it happen. I got the design and all that, but because I cannot fund it myself.
Of course.
I need someone to print it, right? So, so that point in time, someone wanted to sponsor the sticker lah, but I didn't manage in time because I was traveling that period. So if not, by now, if you go to any of these events, you probably see the local local brand stickers out there.
Okay, we're gonna keep a lookout on that.
Yes.
Right. People have seen you, how you are online, on cam. How are you really like off cam?
How am I really like off cam? Whatever that you are seeing me now, I hope so lah. Is this the vibe that you're getting based on your impression of me?
First impression, yes.
From what you saw on camera and when you first met in person, is it the same vibe that you're getting based off camera?
Yes. I think when I first met you in person, this is the guy that I know, that I've seen and I've watched online.
Okay, that's good lah. Whatever that people see me online is very much the same guy lah.
Okay, sure. Why are we here actually?
Okay, so I'm just gonna share with you guys a little bit about, or with you lah, more of like what happens before I actually do my shoot. Typically, usually what will happen is, just for example, right, the one behind me is actually a restaurant, Permata.
Okay.
Before I actually visit the particular shop, the introverted side of me, I need some time by myself before I actually approach the business owner. I always do that. So for example, right, if you're just to go to the front, so there's this grass patch here in Kampung Glam, this beautiful grass patch. So what I did was, before I actually enter to start doing my review or do my content, I have this thing whereby I will hang around this area first, and I will actually look at my phone first. And the first few things I will do is, I will kind of like, okay, when was this restaurant open? What are they gonna sell? All the details. Alright, and then I say, okay, who I need to speak to? And then after that, I need to speak to Chef Meldin, for example, right? Okay, I need to speak to this person. I need to get the names right, whatever not. And then once I got all the facts ready, the next thing what I did was, I actually went to the front of the building, and I will typically do my intro first. And my intro is usually things like, I will do using my phone. At that point in time, I was using my phone lah. Before I use my camera, so I just like literally use my phone with my mic on. I just like, okay guys, today in Melayu lah usually. Usually I do in English. So I'll just go like, okay, if you're looking for halal buffet 1-for-1 here in Kampung Glam, you should check out this video because you are not going to regret this. So let's go. And then once I've done my intro, the next thing what I do is that I will enter the particular shop or restaurant or whatever. And one of the things I will do is that I will B-roll. I call it B-roll. I think you all know, right? So I will record whatever food photos and videos as much as possible. So I just record all the videos ready. Now then I take my food. I take my food, then I will sit down lah. I will sit down, then I will start to eat lah. Usually when I eat, my camera is just there. So I will makan lah. I makan. I used to, back then, I used to rate my food. Like, 4 or 5. I have kind of stopped doing that. Because I believe taste is subjective. Right? What is spicy to you is not spicy to me. So what right now I do is that I always say that it's for awareness purposes. So after I have shot the B-roll, after I've shot my food, then I will try my best to catch either the owner ataupun the chef. Because I want to know what's the story behind the food. So that's why if you look at my content, I have a lot of conversation with the business owner or the restaurant, the chef itself. So they will share about, this menu is like this menu is like that. So I have this element of story behind the food. Because this chef have a reason why they put certain food there. You know? So you hear the story, so it's amazing. So and then once all that is done, then I will just wrap up my video lah. So it's quite to me it's quite a straightforward process.
The side that a lot of people that they don't see is what is going on behind the scenes. How do they stay sane with all of these uncertainties that's going on? To be a creator, I know it's something that it's not certain for you. It's either you make it or break it. Because I always believe that you're always one content or one video away from going big. What is that one thing that helps you to sustain and keep yourself sane?
I mean, one of the way for a lot of these content creators, especially the budding ones, right, is knowing that, I get paid to eat, supposedly. But truth be told is that I've kind of slowed down on paid reviews a lot. So which means within the past 1.5 years or so, I would say 80% of the content that you're seeing on my platforms are non-paid. Okay. So I don't actually get paid from these brands or these shops. I guess that's the reason why it keeps me going. The funny thing, that's the irony. In terms of motivation lah, not financially lah, right? Financially, of course, it doesn't make sense lah, right? But in terms of motivation, I know that the reason why I'm doing the content because I legit enjoy the food, I consume the food, I enjoy the experience. And it's not because I'm getting paid this amount of money to feature you lah, for example. So I guess that keeps me going in terms of motivation wise. And in terms of financial wise, I would say my stream of income is actually not my food reviews actually. A lot of people would think that, Syuk, you get paid to eat and then you enjoy your life, go. I say no. So some of my stream of income is either I am actually social media managing some of my clients. So I handle their social media content. I do brand content strategies. So which means I sit down with my client, they say, okay Syuk, I want to have this content, what do you suggest? So I actually curate their stories and all that for them. And then on top of that, I'm actually doing hostings and events. Right? So these are the various streams of income that actually keeps me going. And if you ask me, honestly, I guess through my content creation, that brings me my clients. My content creation is not my clientele, actually. It's through my content creation that brings me my client and my businesses, actually.
That's your personal brand, I would say.
Exactly.
Right.
And I guess that's one way to, for me lah, personally, it works for me to survive, is that oh, people see, oh, because I mean, I can just go to any place to makan.
Correct.
And I don't need for people to pay me just to eat.
Yes.
If I'm gonna wait for people to pay me to eat, what if no brands want to pay me, right? Then what?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna earn any money, right? So at least I know that I go to this brand, I feature this brand for free, unless the direction is different lah. But if like I say I just go to any shop,
Yeah.
I go and eat, and then I create a content out of it.
Yeah.
I post, then I get views. Other brands reach out to me.
Yeah.
That's when other business comes in lah.
True. Yeah.
Right? So if you ask me, this is my own marketing lah.
Looking back at this 5 to 6 years journey, how have you defined success when you first started versus today?
I guess the core definition still stays. I always believe in whatever that I do, and I guess I would like to believe is that I think whatever that I do, people can see from the work that I've been posting online. Whether is it on LinkedIn. Actually, LinkedIn is another platform that people can see me or the real me also. I believe that whatever that I do, it must always have some form of impact and benefit to the people around me. I can be doing certain things, but eventually it will still lead back to, I will run classes. It lead back to I will run workshop. I will lead back to coaching. I know nowadays a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Business owner, they start a business, and then whether the business work or not, then after that suddenly they run a coaching business.
Correct.
For context, I've been doing training for the past, 15 years. So it's beyond this whole culture of starting a coaching business. So I believe that whatever that I do, it must always have a benefit for the people around me or the community. When I say benefit, it must not always talk about money returns, even if it means to have it pro bono as well.
Right.
Because I always believe is that the more you give, the more you get.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always in the form of monetary returns.
You have briefly mentioned to me just now when we were talking at the earlier part of it.
Yeah.
If you could only describe this in 3 words, okay?
Okay.
If one day SyukEats disappeared, what would you want people to remember about you?
Because I believe that over the years, what I've done is I've actually shared and impart those knowledge to brands, people around me, that they are already creating those ripple effects. So even if SyukEats, that brand, disband or doesn't exist, or suddenly all the platforms decide to take it away, it doesn't matter lah, because I know whatever I have with me is already out there. People are already creating their own change with it.
If you didn't get laid off in that very huge MNC, will all of this happen?
Maybe not lah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
Oh, wow.
Because when you have your full-time job, typically there's a cushion at the back, right?
Yes.
So you're doing everything based on side hustle,
Yep.
right? You're doing it because it's okay, you know. But now you are taken off everything.
Yes.
You got nothing to fall back on.
Yep.
And to be honest, even whatever the luxury of salary and all that, I wasn't financially responsible.
Yep.
So I was technically I would actually have crashed and burned.
Yep.
Yeah. So it would have been very different, the journey. Yeah, it would be very different. But still, the core of it, you will still see me doing whatever I'm doing in terms of the community work. That is just, I don't know, something I cannot let go of. Yeah, I will still do whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. What's next for you?
What's next for me? SyukEats will be more focused on creating more impactful classes for communities out there, for people to come forward, so to grow themselves. And when it comes to my wedding services, it's not just going to be hosting, but more things coming up for couples out there lah, basically. I cannot share much, but you can follow lah.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, you have to meet this guy. He's an absolute beggar, man, to really talk to. Yeah, but anyways, thank you so much for meeting me today,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, man.
But you guys should really subscribe to his channel, follow his channel, because he's not just a content creator, but he's a thinking content creator. And I think a lot more people should watch your content.
Yes, sir.
And I think a lot more people should actually follow you, and you should be meeting more amazing individuals out there.
Wow, I'm gonna keep to those words, man. Thank you so much.
Yes.